Look, I don't know if you remember back in the day they had AM PM commercials and the tagline was too much good stuff. Like you couldn't possibly go into an AM PM and not come out with just ridiculous amounts of stuff because the drinks are good, the snacks are good, on and on and on, right? So I feel like Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1 is kind of like the AM PM of verses. There's just too much good stuff. Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. I will be your host. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you. Here we are in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. I'm excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining me. We're going to go ahead and look at the scriptures. So let's go. And verse 1 of chapter 12, therefore, since. So therefore, you always want to ask, what is it therefore? Since we have such a large cloud of witnesses, all those people that we just got done talking about yesterday, too much faith, too little time, let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that lies before us. Not only do we need to get rid of sin in our lives, but that is obviously a given, right? Get rid of the sin in your life. Everybody just type in the box, what is the sin in your life that you're trying to get rid of? I'm just kidding. You do not have to type that. But what I would like you to do is, if you're thinking about the hindrances that we should lay aside, and it says that easily ensnares you or weighs you down, right? The hindrances are things that just weigh you down. So drop in the comments something that to you seems like a hindrance. So it's not necessarily sin, but something that you would readily admit. You know what? This is slowing me down. This is getting in the way of my relationship with God. What would that be? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear some of the things that we need to be dealing with, right? Because if we need to be laying aside every hindrance, we need to make sure that we take time to think about and identify what those things might be. Like we said here on this slide, lay aside every hindrance and sin. So not all of what we need to get rid of is fully sin, but can still weigh us down. And so the first one we're going to talk about is people pleasing. People pleasing is a hindrance in your relationship with God. How is that a hindrance? Isn't it good to want to take care of people? Isn't it good to want to please people? But, yes, that's true to a degree, but sometimes when you are a people pleaser, it means that you care more about what people think than maybe what God thinks. This can lead to compromise. This can lead to sin. This can lead to just being stressed out and anxious all the time because people are crazy, fickle, wishy-washy, here one day, gone the next. So if you base everything that you have going on pleasing these people that could change their mind from moment to moment, the more frustrated you're going to find yourself. And that's very, very hindering. But I think really is the biggest deal is where it makes you compromise on your standards. So Samson had this problem with Delilah, right? He was madly in love with Delilah. He had a commitment to not cut his hair, a vow to not cut his hair. And yet, even after she showed herself to be completely untrustworthy multiple times, he still told her the secret because he didn't want her to get mad at him. He didn't want her to be frustrated. And so that would be a hindrance, folks. That would be a hindrance of people pleasing because you're not bold enough to stick to your guns, to not give in, to just do whatever they ask you to do. So people pleasing would be a number one hindrance Again, drop in the comments if it's something that you're struggling with in regards to hindrances, something that you think, wow, I need to, okay, maybe it's easier to list the ones your neighbor needs to get rid of. Either way, drop it in the comments. Let's have a conversation down there about the different types of hindrances that we might face. The next one that we will talk about is unresolved bitterness. Now, this one definitely borders on the fringe edges of sin, because forgiveness, is what helps resolve bitterness. So if you have unresolved bitterness, now this could just be part of your journey. It could just be something that you're working on and it's just not quite yet resolved. But oftentimes we just kind of leave it be and we stop processing, we stop working on it, and we just kind of hang on to that bitterness, allowing people and sin and previous offenses to live rent-free inside our heads. And that, my friends, is a terrible idea. So unresolved bitterness is another hindrance, and we just need to walk in forgiveness when it comes to this issue so that we don't become bitter, because bitterness really is only going to injure you, because most of the time, whatever you're bitter about, a lot of times the person or the situation, that's causing the bitterness, they're not even aware that it's going on. They're just living their lives, and you're the one that's paying the price. So let's lay aside people pleasing, and let's lay aside unresolved bitterness. Now, let's lay aside busyness and overcommitment. And this one is humongous because it is a hindrance, because it's one of the things that prevents us from really, truly connecting with the Lord. I mean, this could be the kind of thing that can end up leading you to a place where you basically abandon your faith, right? Because you get so busy, you get so overcommitted that you're never spending time with Jesus. Remember, the recipe for being an effective disciple is to be with Jesus, to be changed by Jesus, and then to be on mission with Jesus. But if you miss out because you're too busy and you're too overcommitted and you never get into the presence of God, you're never spending the time with him, you're never going to get to the changed by him part of the process. And that's where we want to really make sure that we are taking the time to lay aside busyness, to lay aside overcommitment, to begin to harness the power of the word no, power of boundaries, the power of proper scheduling, so that you don't overcommit and you don't get too busy. All right, number 4 is toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are a terrible hindrance to our walk with God, because it means that we're allowing other people that are not healthy for us to kind of run part of our life. And that's where we need to have healthy boundaries to draw with people depending on what the challenge of the situation is. We need to draw healthy boundaries and make sure that those boundaries get respected. And that will help us to live healthier day in and day out. And it is definitely a hindrance, as it saps strength and energy from you when you have people in your life constantly drawing off of you, constantly, like never giving you anything that fills you back up. Now, it's okay, I think, at times to have relationships where there is not a balance. It's more of a one-sided kind of a thing, because I think just some relationships tend towards being kind of one-sided or imbalanced. And it doesn't mean that relationship is necessarily wrong, but the toxic part is what we want to watch out for. And so, to have a quick little recap, we got people pleasing, where we value what people are saying more than we value what God has said. The next one is unresolved bitterness. Don't let those people live rent free in your head, y'all. Let's forgive. Let's let things go. Let's trust God. He's the one that metes out the justice, and we need to let those things go. Lay aside those unresolved bitterness issues, and let's walk in freedom. Amen. And then busyness and overcommitment, and then toxic relationships. So we are going to hit the last 4 of this list of hindrances that we need to be getting rid of. We're going to come back to it tomorrow. So God bless you. Have an amazing day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hey, if you're getting value out of these videos, if you could just make sure you hit the like button, maybe subscribe to the channel. YouTube is suggesting a video right about here for you to check out. So go ahead and check out the next video.